In this video, we will look at how to set up and use tipping. Within Register, you can apply tips either during a transaction before tendering, or apply a tip after the transaction for when the customer has left and placed a cash tip on the table. To configure your Register to allow tipping, you only need to make one change on the web portal. To enable tipping, click Config from the top bar and click Profiles from the submenu. Click the pen edit icon on the appropriate profile and click User Permissions to expand the options. Scroll down to the tipping option and set the applicable permission. In this case, we are going to change it from disabled to all POS users. After making the change, scroll down and click Save. Simply repeat this process for any other applicable profiles. As we have made changes to the configuration, the only thing to do is click Update Data on the Register to receive the tipping update. After adding some items to the transaction, you will now see the Tip Sir button available in the function group. To add a tip to the transaction before the customer has paid, simply tap this button and you will see the option to either enter a tip by amount or percentage of transaction. After selecting one of these options, you must then enter the amount using the keypad and tap Enter. You can add tips at any time during a transaction after an item has been added. Percentage tips will automatically recalculate if additional items are added to the transaction. Tips added during a transaction can be included in any tender type. When tendering the transaction, Register will ask if the tip is included in that tender type. If it is, simply tap Yes. If not, tap No and Register will prompt for the tender type of the tip. This typically occurs when a customer pays by card and is leaving a cash tip and the user is aware of it during payment. You can also record tips after the customer has paid on the transaction summary screen. If the customer is paying by cash and wants to leave the change owed as a tip, simply tap the Add Tip button on the transaction summary screen and select Cash Change from the options. If the customer is leaving a different amount as a tip, select the Cash Other option and enter the tip amount. The final way to apply a tip to a previous transaction is from the transaction history screen. To do this, first tap Menu and then tap Transaction History. From here, locate and tap on the transaction you want to add a tip to. After selecting the transaction, tap the Tip Adjustment button. Select the tip type and enter the amount as before. Customers using integrated terminals with pre-auth capabilities can also apply a tip adjustment on the Ready to Complete tab in the Suspended Transaction screen, and then follow the same process. You can view a total of the tips taken in the Reports section of the Register. You can see the same information in the Sales and Shift reports on the web portal. A summary of tips taken by clerk can be seen in the Staff report on the web portal. To view the Staff Sales report, click Reports on the top bar and select the Sales Reports group on the submenu. Apply any applicable filters and run the Staff report. This report details the total tips collected as well as cash and card tips per staff member. Further information on tipping can also be found in your user manual, and if you still have any questions, please get in touch with your solution provider who will be able to offer further assistance.